So the chicken paddocks are in, and the chickens are finally enjoying the paddock shift. This is actually paddock 1, and paddock 1 has a couple of nectarine trees in it, and I did let the grass get real tall because they like to eat the seeds, but there's also a mixture of some other stuff that they like in there. There's some amaranth, there's some quinoa, there's some lamb's quarters. This is actually paddock 2, and there's a couple of mulberry trees which are fairly small at the moment, and there's also a plum tree, so the chickens will be able to enjoy the fruit that falls on the ground there. There's also a good chunk of clover and alfalfa in here, obviously with the long grass as well, so they can eat the seed heads. This is plot 3 and 4, or paddock 3 and 4, and it has the fruit tree guild installation, so there's actually a mixture of not only edibles that are good for human use, but also good for chickens, and then also good for the trees. So the chickens will be able to provide some fertility for the trees and also some pest control, which would be nice. Another thing to notice about paddocks 3 and 4 is that there's a nice slope here down to the terrace garden, so all the chicken nutrients and the manure basically will be able to wash down into the terrace garden, and this will be a nice nutrient flow to help out the garden. Also, there's going to be beneficial pest control that the chickens are going to provide by occupying the areas just adjacent to the garden for the majority of the season. Paddock 5 is also similar to paddocks 3 and 4 in that we've got some fruit trees. We have apple and cherry trees that are going to benefit from the chickens occupying the space, but also there's a good sized slope down into the mandala garden just across the way there. So the mandala garden is going to benefit from the nutrient flow and the pest control here as well. So what I'll do is I'll move the chickens through each paddock every 7 days. So once a week, usually on Saturday, I go ahead and move them. So every Saturday I'll move them through from paddock 1 to paddock 2 all the way to paddock 5, and then once we get done with paddock 5 we'll move back to paddock 1 and then start the whole cycle again. With the fences already set up, moving the chickens is actually pretty easy. It's just as simple as opening the gate, letting them run through, and pulling their coop through. So the big benefit to shifting them every 7 days is that they don't overtax one pasture, and it'll be enough nutrients to help the pasture, but not so much that it's getting toxic for them. So they have a much healthier atmosphere to live in, and the pasture will do much better. So the key is to get them to move out of the way, but so that's pretty much it. I just move the coop and grab their water, and it's done. So pretty easy. Now this paddock, they won't see this paddock for another 30 days or so.